Gravity tables are used in seed cleaning to improve seed quality. The gravity table removes seeds that are diseased, insect-infested, or mechanically damaged. Note the quality of soybean seeds in this picture that were cleaned with a gravity table. The gravity table also removes difficult-to-clean weeds such as nightshade berries and debris such as soil clods. Note the dark streak. These are shriveled nightshade berries. This picture shows improved germination of seed corn. Note the difference between the heavy fraction and the light fraction from a gravity table. The same results also hold for wheat. Note the dramatic difference in germination between the heavy and light fraction from the gravity table of a wheat seed lot that was infested with fusarium, or wheat scab disease. Yet another benefit is the improvement in appearance. Appearance is important from a marketing standpoint. Some new information indicates that good seeds from the gravity table are less susceptible to mechanical damage than the discards. Although gravity tables are generally efficient, they are quite complex to operate. The gravity table has a number of controls that interact with each other and must be adjusted properly to accomplish the desired result. In the next few minutes, we will discuss how a gravity table works and how best to adjust a gravity table to obtain highest quality separation. We will use this Oliver gravity table, which is commonly used in seed cleaning, to demonstrate the mechanics of separation and adjustment. This is the deck of the gravity table, which is perforated, so air can be introduced from the underside. The seeds on the deck are about 3 to 6 layers deep. For the moment, let us say 3 layers deep. The air from under the deck is adjusted to stratify the material on the deck. By stratification, we mean that the light seeds are made to float. The heavy product sinks to the bottom and touches the deck. The medium-heavy products are in between the heavy and the light products. The deck is inclined and is made to vibrate by an eccentric gear. With each upward motion of the deck, the heavy seeds touching the deck move up, that is, walk uphill until they are discharged off the deck. The light products that are floating at the top are not affected as much by the vibration. They are, however, affected by the downward slope of the deck. They migrate down the incline until they are discharged on this side. So, we have the separation of the heavy product from the light product. So far, we have limited ourselves to a one-dimensional picture of a gravity table deck. In reality, the deck has 2 slopes, one going up this way, which we have already discussed, and the other going down this way, simply to move the product from feed end to discharge end. Here is where the material is fed into the deck. Air comes from below the seeds and stratifies the material. The vibration moves the heavy product up the slope. The light product moves down the slope, and so we have the separation of heavy, light, and medium-heavy seed. This corner of the deck is the lowest point, and the lightest product concentrates here. The various adjustments of the Oliver gravity table are airflow, speed, feed, slopes, side, end, dividers. We will examine the effect of each of these adjustments. Let us start with the airflow. Proper airflow is important for stratification. Too much airflow causes the light and heavy products to mix, and they're hard to separate. More product in this case moves to the low side and will be discarded. Too much airflow is indicated by bubbling on the deck. Too little airflow is not good either. With too little airflow, stratification is not accomplished and the light product moves up. You can tell when there is too little airflow if the product appears dead on the deck. If the product looks dead instead of fluidized, the airflow is inadequate. In the Oliver gravity table, more than one fan delivers air to the deck. More air is needed in this area of the deck to initiate stratification, so the fan located directly under this area is adjusted to produce more airflow. Once stratification is initiated, not as much airflow is needed, so the airflow can be less in this area of the deck, and consequently, these two fans are adjusted to produce less airflow than the fan at the feed end. In fact, the fan at the discharge end can sometimes be shut off or opened just a little. The next adjustment is the speed of vibration, or the eccentric speed. And this is what moves the product that is touching the deck up the slope. Too much speed, however, can make the entire product bounce on the deck. Slow speeds make the product deeper on the low side, and consequently the air will leak on the high side, causing bubbling. The airflow and eccentric speed are related to each other. That is, similar effects can be obtained by increasing airflow or decreasing eccentric speed. What is important is to find the right combination. We mentioned earlier there are upper limits and lower limits to these adjustments and how to recognize them. Within these limits, a number of combinations will produce satisfactory separation. Feed is another important adjustment. Two things are important here: proper amount and uniform feeding. Too much feed will overload the deck and material will not be stratified. Too little feed will cause empty space. What is also important is the uniformity in feeding. If the feed fluctuates, the pattern on the deck will fluctuate also, and the operator will have a hard time in deciding where to make the demarcation between the heavy and the light product. Next is the slope adjustment. As we mentioned earlier, there are two slope adjustments, one from the high side to the low side, or the side slope, and the other from the feed end to the discharge end, or the end slope. The end slope primarily affects the capacity of separation. By increasing the end slope, the product gets off the deck quickly, and consequently the capacity of the machine can be increased. You must be careful not to tilt it too much, though, otherwise the product will not have enough time on the deck for separation to occur. In general, it is a good idea to begin with 25% of the maximum end slope setting and adjust the machine to obtain the best separation. The slope can then be increased to increase the capacity. You will, of course, have to increase the feed to keep up with the capacity. The side slope primarily affects the quality of separation, and you want to begin with maximum slope. That way, only the very heavy product will be able to climb up the slope. If, however, you see that the heavy product has difficulty in climbing, the slope can be reduced. Too little slope is also detrimental because it will bring the light product up the slope, which you don't want. The effect of side slope is inversely related to the effect of eccentric speed. Similar effect can be obtained by increasing the speed or decreasing side slope. Setting the dividers to divide between heavy, medium heavy, and the light product is another adjustment. Seed conditioners often ask where to place the dividers. There is no general answer to this question. It primarily depends on where the undesirable product is being discharged off the deck. Incidentally, the medium-heavy product is a blend of good and bad, so many conditioners recycle this product to salvage the good. Now that we have discussed the effect of various adjustments, let us talk about how to set the machine. First, set the side slope to maximum, the end slope to 25% of the maximum, the eccentric speed to 75% of maximum, the first fan at the feed end fully open, the second fan halfway open, and the last fan fully shut off. Incidentally, larger Oliver gravity tables may have 5 or 7 fans. In general, you want to have more air in the feed area and cut down the airflow as you move toward the discharge end. Turn the machine on and listen to make sure that everything is tight. Then, open the feed adjustment and allow the product to gently fall onto the deck. Start with a small feed and observe the product flow from the feed end to the discharge end. As the product flows up to here, stratification should begin. If it does not, adjust this fan accordingly or change the feed. The light product should have a pattern like this. It should go up a little and then begin to migrate down the slope. If it is riding too high, increase the airflow with the fan here to bring it back down. Then observe the action of eccentric speed. If the material is too deep on the high side, slow down the speed. If the material is too deep on the low side, you may want to increase the speed a little. Now, observe where the light product is being discharged off the deck. You may want to track a particular kernel of seed or a weed seed on the deck with your eyes and see where it is getting off the deck. That will help you decide where to place the dividers. Once you are happy with the separation, increase the end slope to allow the product to move off the deck quickly and increase the feed. And this will allow you to increase the capacity of the machine. There is yet another way to increase the capacity of the machine. These gates on the high side of the machine can be opened. This will let the heavy product flow off the deck quickly. One word of caution: open only a couple of gates at one time. Increase the feed a little and allow the operation of the machine to settle down. If necessary, adjust the air a little and then open until all gates are open. Incidentally, this gate is for removing stones and dirt clods. Just lift the gate a little every 15 to 20 minutes and allow the stones collected here to flow off the deck if the seed lot has stones to be removed. Other things also will affect the operation of the gravity table. One of these items is installation of the machine. The machine must be solidly anchored so there are no false vibrations. Remember that eccentric vibration is one of the factors in separation. If there are other external vibrations, adjusting the machine becomes very difficult. Some new machines provide for counterbalancing, which helps. The deck of the gravity table is very important because it is the surface on which separation is made. First, openings in the deck must correspond to the product that is to be sorted. For corn and soybeans, for example, a 10-mesh deck is recommended. For wheat, a 16-mesh deck is used, and for grass seeds, a cloth deck works best. Another thing to watch for is roughness of the deck. If, after a lot of use, the deck surface becomes smooth, the product will not be able to climb up the slope because friction is reduced. Then it is time to get a new deck. Yet another item to keep in mind is that the deck must be thoroughly cleaned before each use. If any area of the deck is plugged up with fines, the airflow in that area is affected and separation will not occur. The gravity table is a precision machine and should be used as a finishing operation in seed cleaning. So, pre-clean the product to remove the light trash and undersize and oversize contaminations before putting the product on the gravity table. Then, the gravity table can make a precise separation on the basis of weight and bulk density, and the results are often very satisfactory.